Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everyone. We're going to talk about some things today that can truly change your life, make a big impact. You should be doing these things on a regular, if not daily basis. And the things we're talking about could seem so obvious to some, but we don't do them. And many of us look at these things and they'll say, how is that going to make a difference? Are you seriously? I have medication. I could take that. That I know that works. There's other things that holistically can support you. So today we're looking at healthy, holistic, call them daily or regular habits that can make a difference in your life. And this is just part of what she offers when she works with people as an amazing psychologist and author. Fantastic books that she has out. Dr. Ann Creekmore is back with us. How are you doing today?
Great, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing real good. It took me a long time to realize how the things we're going to talk about today support us. And I'm just like anybody else, like, really, that's going to make a difference? And what are these things? Why don't we talk with getting out into nature and what's called grounding yourself? I could give you my view of it. I'd love to hear yours.
Sure. That sounds good.
Why does it make such a difference in being outside? And what is this thing that we talk about called grounding?
Well, what did you want to share about it? Because this is something that works really well for you. I feel like everyone has their own body chemistry, and tell me what you're thinking about and how it works for you.
Well, you're a psychologist. I see what you're doing there.
Sorry about that.
For everyone, everybody is different. I agree. The nature thing for most people I know does have a major impact. And then there are some that don't realize the impact. And that was me at some point. But I find when I spend some time outside, I'm calmer. I get clarity, just an overall feeling of some elation, like feel good. Things feel good. And I never put the two and two together. I'll share a very quick story, and I've shared this with others. I'm in between houses, sold a house, not the best market now. Interest rates just came down a little bit yesterday, so waiting on that and all of it. It just doesn't make sense to jump into another house financially. I redid the whole backyard, and I would landscape, and I would cut the flowers, and I would do the bushes, and I do all of that myself. I would be walking around with no shoes on, like dirtiest feet you'll see. And I loved it. And I didn't realize until I sold the house that it made such an impact on me. And very short story here. I'm in a group. We do community service. There was a family that had some medical challenges, cancer treatment. Somebody had a hernia. It all was happening at once. And they bought mulch and they wanted to redo their yard for the spring. And they couldn't. So we jumped in, me and 10 men. And we redid the backyard.
Nice.
And I'm crawling on the dirt.
Wonderful.
And the owner of the house comes up to me, his eyes welling up, and he says, thank you so much for what you're doing for our family. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be in your backyard and crawling in the dirt and just moving things. And this is great because I felt like I was home again. It was just a wonderful feeling. So being outside, for me, it's what's called grounding. And this sounds ridiculous to some, but I've even touched a tree. Like I've felt a calling, like I need to touch you, tree, just to feel better. And I have. And I don't think it's psychological. I think energetically there's truly something going on there. And that's why they call it grounding. So that's my view of it. Scientifically, I don't know. What could you add to that?
Yes. Well, one thing I had one question too. Was this something that you loved to do when you were growing up? I mean, were you an outdoor kind of guy that
I wasn't.
liked to be outside? You were not.
I wasn't, and that is maybe I wanted to, but part of me might have been afraid. My mom was kind of overprotective, so maybe I didn't do it to the point where I felt it supported me.
Yes.
So I know where you're going with that, and I wish I could make that connection, but I can't.
Well, do you remember any times, because I'm leading up to something with this too, for everybody as well. Do you remember times when you felt a natural high being outside, when you were younger? Like you just remembered that you went out and you were in the dirt and you just enjoyed yourself one day. Not saying you did it every day, but did you have, or you went on a picnic, or you all, are there any kind of things that would have clued you in that this is something that, is a natural high for you?
I wouldn't say when I was much, much, much younger, but I will say in my 20s, the beach always called me. And
Yes.
I would go to the beach every other day, hence got a little bit of skin cancer, minor, because I spent tons of time in the sun. I just enjoyed it.
Right.
But I will say this, my dad, who I didn't have a close relationship with, he had a boat. He loved the outdoors, would spend time on the water with him occasionally. And he passed when I was 21.
Aw.
At that point, that's where I started
Right.
being on the water and going to the beach.
Exactly.
And then I realized that I'm him. Like even to now in my life, I'm living his life and didn't realize it all along the way.
Nice.
So there's definitely, something there. I love the water and all of that as well. I feel it's like therapy. Like I was walking on the beach. I don't do it enough. I was on the beach on Sunday, and just like it was windy out and the sea air, like, yeah,
Lovely.
give me more.
Right.
I'm taking a
Right.
nap. Yeah. So I feel that's in me. There's something there. Does that work for everybody? No, maybe not. Some people say, I'm not going outside, there's bugs. Whatever it is. But I wish I could connect it to my childhood. I don't think I can because I got bullied. Maybe those things got in the way of the passion of being outside.
Right. But once you started going out, you did realize that this really works for you. And it sounds like it's a time, in a sense, that you're like, close to your dad now, at a level. I mean, you're being with him. It's what he did. And that's actually for grief, a form of it's a defense, emotional coping, but it's not necessarily negative. It's good. It's called identification with the lost object. Objects always, like in psychoanalytic therapy, thought is just a person, and you're just kind of, that's that time. You're close with dad. You're being dad. You are dad. So in itself, it's a healing for the grief as well. And of course, if you're spiritual and, which I am, we kind of like, they say that, we are their heaven. So if we're doing something, that they've crossed over and we're doing something they loved, they're enjoying it with you too. So maybe doing
it's
that
interesting.
as well.
I never made that connection, and I don't doubt it for a second. And it goes back to what I said a second ago, where now, some pieces are coming clearer. I didn't start enjoying the beach and the outdoors until he did pass. Like, seriously. Like, I try,
Yes.
from that point back, I try to think of, well, did you, was that your thing? And it really wasn't. But,
Right.
a year after that or whatever, I was at the beach every other day. I did a morning
Right.
show on radio, very successful, when I was young, and I would take my nap at the beach. So I was there every other day. So
Nice.
there was, again, therapeutic. That, that is it for me. I'm making plans right now. I'm going to kayak this weekend before it gets cold out. I didn't make those connections until the last few years. About the outdoor grounding connection. What is it?
Right.
What is it that the outdoors and that word grounding, what does it do for us? What's going on there?
Well, supposedly, not necessarily Western ideology per se, but more of the Eastern, with the chakras, that we have different chakras, including our heart chakra, which is kind of our love center. It's very much opened up by nature, because if you think about, that, I mean, if you accept that there's, people can say when you go into the brain, you can't find a spirit in the brain. I heard a neurologist who can't find it. It's like, well, could you find love while you're in there? No. Can you find thoughts while you're in? No. I mean, they're not necessarily going to be found in a brain structure, but we know there's love. We know that there's thoughts. We know there's good. There's the good force. We know that there's things that have been evil, and we know there's good. And when we go out and we just kind of connect with that calm, beauty of nature, we're kind of connecting to our own inner heart chakra of the good. And it's just rejuvenating for us.
I know it gets woo-woo and energetically. We're talking about the principles of energy, but within energy, there is a ground. Look at the electric that's powering everything here. Whatever you're doing, it goes to a ground. So what goes to the ground? The tree.
Exactly.
Nature. You're walking on the ground. Again, you have to find the things that support you. So we're talking about the healthy holistic habits that can support. Pick one. How about breathing? You want to talk about proper breathing and what it does for you?
And before we move on, I could add, of course, when you're out, nature and it's calm, and it's calming your breathing and you're getting vitamin D. A lot of people are deficient in vitamin D, and when you don't have enough vitamin D, you've got fatigue, depression, and so on. And this way you're getting fresh air out so and you're often meditating in a sense. You're breathing, you're just being with your breath, and so it's combined, a lot of different reasons why it's healthy. And as you said, you're on the ground, your feet are on the ground, and you're being grounded. And the reason I also brought up the idea of what in your past, because this is a way that people can always ask themselves, well, what gave me a natural high, or makes me feel this good way? And then try to go there and do more of that for your mind, body, spirit, because if you're out, you're getting exercise, you're getting your workout, and it's increasing your natural painkillers, your endorphins, if you're out, doing outdoors things, so you're releasing your serotonin through the physical fitness. So that's also helping your body as well. So there's a lot of reasons, just to finish answering your question of it's serving multiple purposes when you're outdoors and working out things.
You're right. I never thought about that. Yeah. So, you just look at the outdoors thing here. You're breathing in wonderful air, or should be. You're spending time in your mind, which we don't do because we have all these distractions and devices and everything going on there. And you're getting grounded, which some believe that truly supports you. So yeah, I didn't look at it as a multifaceted way to help you heal and feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very healing.
Wow.
Yeah, breath work. You want yes, there. What would you like to say about that, or ask about the?
I believe we don't realize how impactful it is to properly breathe or take the time to breathe. And why? How does it work? Why does it work?
Well, when we breathe properly, we can bring ourselves to a calmer place, mind, body, spirit. We can calm ourselves down. It brings our blood pressure down. I guess back in the day, there was a transcendental meditation. I think they've done the scientific research on what it does for your system, but it is, lowering your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, helping you get to a calm, less anxious state when you do your breath work. And there is a lot, and how they always say, if you're angry, walk away and take 10 deep breaths, and get yourself calmed down. So you get your IQ back, you're not all clouded in your thinking, and you've gotten yourself calm. So yeah, it's really important to do that. And I mean, I do teach that too as well, like there's a certain breath work that I like that I'd be happy to share about.
Please.
It's called triangular breathing. If you want to do it with me, you can. You just kind of imagine a triangle, and and as you imagine a triangle, you're going to breathe, inhale up, the left side of the triangle, breathing up, and then down the right side of the triangle, you breathe out, and then you pause, and you just say, rest, relax. Then you breathe up, and you're breathing down, and then you hold. You're just pausing, rest, relax, you say to yourself. And if you want to, you can do it for a minute, and you'll see a real change. Just keep breathing in and exhaling, and then hold, pause, say rest, relax. And you can add a mantra to it if you want. I mean, you could say, when you're breathing up, you say peace, and breathe down, peace, and then just at the bottom, holding, say relax to yourself. And you can say any kind of thing you want. If you wanted to, if you're religious or spiritual, you want to say, breathe in, up the triangle with God, down the triangle, be still, peace. Wow. Relax. So you just kind of get into that. And that's an excellent practice that I do a lot, and I teach, people that have a lot for their anxiety, stress management, to just practice it a couple of times a day. Like if you have time in the morning, not rushing at 4 a.m. for a job. If you have time in the morning when you wake up, just kind of practice that for about 3-5 minutes. Just be there with it.
To recap that, the triangle.
Yes,
okay?
Yes.
So give us that again, because I feel that the triangle concept in your mind is very beneficial because you're focusing on something and getting your mind away from the other stuff.
Exactly.
And visual.
Exactly.
So I'm at the top of the triangle.
So you're starting at the bottom of the left side of the triangle. Start at the bottom of the left.
Gotcha.
Breathe up, inhale, exhale down, and then you pause. You don't breathe. You say, hold, rest, relax. You talk to yourself positively. Rest, relax. And then you go back up and and hold it. Rest, relax. At the bottom, you just totally relax then. And
what's that? Yeah. What's that called?
Triangular breathing is all I know. I was taught it many, many years ago, and it's in my book because I have a whole section on how to chill if somebody's really driving you crazy, kind of section about 9-10 things, and that's one of them you can do.
Cool.
Just kind of and if you're going to feel stressed in a conversation, you can do that before. Like if your body has practiced it by breathing when you wake up like that and falling asleep to that, following your breath, falling asleep. If you wake up, follow your breath. Then when you go, oh shoot, I have to go talk to somebody about this now, and you get a little edgy. Start doing your breathing before you go in to start the conversation. And nobody can tell you triangular breathing. I mean, you can just keep breathing. They're talking away and you're a little stressed, but you just keep in your mind your triangle and you just keep breathing and staying in a nice zone, peaceful zone.
Wow. I don't want to center on breathing, but I want to ask this question.
Sure.
Why does it work? It's been said, and I firmly believe it, that taking the time to breathe intentionally, deeply, is like a reset button on the computer. You're having a day, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it's going on, breathe. And in a minute, it makes things better. You got clarity. It's almost like, all right, I can start again and move forward. Psychologically or even physically, what's going on there? Why does it work?
Right. Well, and I liked what you said about do it at least a minute, because usually if you do, it takes about a minute before you start to go down and get calm. So you got to kind of keep going. And then after about a minute, you notice something's changed and you've noticed you've gotten into a calm state. Then why not do it a few more minutes and enjoy that, right? But I mean, it is really slowing your breathing down. I mean, some people, breathe quickly, and it's slowing your breath down. It's slowing your blood pressure down. your heart rate down, your mind down, like you brought up. You're not, you're focusing on that. You're not thinking about this other problem you have and getting yourself worked up. You're just taking yourself to that inner peace place, kind of your sacred place where you're just at peace and you're getting into your heart chakra, if you will, as some would say, to get to that level of just peacefulness. Mentally, emotionally, physically. Mm-hmm.
We have a couple of minutes left here. What else can we holistically do? What are some of give us another one.
Well, of course, I'm a health person. I'm into the holistic health, and that. So just knowing what, doing things for healthy exercise, getting regular exercise 3-4 times a week at least, 45 minutes increases your endorphins and your serotonin, your positive mood neurotransmitter. Watching what you eat, as far as what agrees with you, observing your own self, I think, thinking about what makes me feel happy, mind, body, spirit, what kind of things bring, make me feel agitated. Well, don't go there. Don't do that. What kind of things make me feel calm and fulfilled, mentally, and physically and emotionally and socially, not getting in with toxic things that disturb you, doing the things that make you feel good. And maybe trying to get a couple hours a day, one at least. I know we're all busy, but if you could do at least 1 hour of mind, body, spirit every day, and preferably 2, that you devote some time to your well-being every day. Fine, just kind of look at your schedule. It's on, everybody's calendar is here, there, but put yourself in as an appointment. Like, I'm going to do these things to get myself to my inner peace, and just make time for yourself. Make little appointments with yourself to take care of you.
These little things can make such a big difference in figuring yourself out. Like, for example, watching what you eat. What do I mean by that? Write it down, and then how you felt after it, because you might. Exactly. Food does things to us, and we don't even realize what's going on. And you might see a pattern. Oh, well,
exactly.
Maybe it's a grain that I ate, and maybe there's something going on there. And our bodies change. As you get older, things are different.
Exactly, that's true. Things we can't eat anymore. Right. And food logs are great. You made a good point, because if you write down during the day, then you also write a symptom. If something happens you don't like next to when you ate it, and then do it for 2 weeks, you can look back and go, oh, wow, every time I had that, I got this.
Yes.
Because you kind of jot it and you got a little data there.
And it doesn't show up right away. So it could be a day or two.
Exactly. And you can look back and say, well, wait a minute, it was here and here, but what happened in the last 12 hours that I ate? Oh, every time I had rice, I had this problem, and it may be, and food intolerance, it takes digestion, might not be an immediate reaction, like you're saying. Sure. It could be something you have to digest, and it gets through your system that you get the reaction 6-8 hours later or something. But you can look at it if you got 2 weeks of data to look at.
Love your insight on all of this. How do we connect with you? I know you have a website. I always try to remember it. I know you have a couple of websites that kind of do the same thing.
Right. The easiest way is just to look me up on Psychology Today, that directory with other therapists on it. Look up Ann Creekmore, and my link is right on it. You can just click it. It'll take you right to my websites, and it's got all my information right there.
Yeah. And also about the book, which you mentioned before. A lot of this that we're talking about is in the book. And always a pleasure having you with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
Hi. I'm Dr. Ann Creekmore. I want you to know that you have the power to shine your light and be a magnificent, authentic person that you are in your mind, body, and spirit, and to have a wonderful, fulfilled life. I have written several books, but the one I'm sharing about is Love Yourself, Love Your Life. I want you to have that book so you can start healing the emotional wounds of the past and release any negative subconscious beliefs that are holding you back, so you can become the whole, fulfilled, happy person you're meant to be. Please feel free to contact me. You can find me on Psychology Today, which links into my website. Thank you. Blessings and love.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.